President of the Fiji Law Society, Mr. Wiley Clark, Commissioner of the International Commission of Juries Commission, Justice Zuna, Chief Justice, Justice Kumar, members of the legal profession, and members of the Fiji Law Society. I do note the presence of the Minister for Women, Honorable Linda Tambuya. Distinguished speakers, guests, and panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Bulatinak. It is my pleasure to have been invited to participate in the annual convention of the Fiji Law Society and to give the keynote address at its official opening. I acknowledge and commend the Fiji Law Society for its strong support for the rule of law, these past few years under very challenging circumstances. Strong support for the rule of law and rightly expressing concerns when it has been undermined by government gave voice to the concerns of many, even if it is displeased by my predecessor. The new government of Fiji respects and will uphold the rule of law. And I will speak later about how can we work together and achieve this. I also especially acknowledge the International Commission of Justice, the ICJ, and the ICJ's sponsorship of the convention that enable the FLS to ensure that as many members as possible can attend. Thank you very much, Justice Azuna and the ICJ, for your support. It's always encouraging to international legal organizations and our local organizations build relationships that form the base of long-lasting collaboration. We will see that collaboration in action at this convention. It has been less than a month since the election of a new government, and I know that many seek clarity about where we stand on a number of fundamental matters. Today, I affirm the government's commitment to the rule of law. In particular, this means strong adherence to the universal principles of one, accountability. The government as well as private sectors are accountable under the law. Two, just law. Laws are clear, publicized, stable, and applied evenly. Laws will uphold human rights as well as property, contract, and procedural rights. Three, open government. The processes by which the law is adopted, administered, educated, enforced are accessible, fair, and efficient. Separation of powers. Each of these three arms of government will once again become separate and independent. Lastly, accessible and impartial justice. Justice is delivered timely by competent, ethical, and independent representatives, and neutrals who are accessible, have adequate resources that reflect the makeup of the communities they serve. Each of these principles are bedrock of a free and democratic society that we want for Fiji. I believe that the 34th President of the United States of America, Mr. Eisenhower, summed up quite well when he said, the clearest way to show what the rule of law means to us in everyday life is to recall what has happened when there is no rule of law. A nation ruled by the impulse of one or close set of leaders becomes divided and controlled by nepotism. The result is profound angst and injustice, something that we in Fiji can certainly attest to. Government looks forward to working with the Fiji Law Society to reestablish and ensure adherence to each of these principles. We share responsibility for this. It is only right that we should work together. The theme for this convention, the law in practice, is an open one that encompasses all of the issues we need to openly discuss. Professional service, professional ethics, court etiquettes, issues in management of law firms, and the environment, climate change, and the intersect between gender and the law are all elements that underpin the principle of rule of law that I outlined above. Our government needs change. Government is committed to improving how Fiji is governed, and your support is needed. This is not a change for the sake of change. The change envisaged is the one which ensures Fiji adherence to and respect for the rule of law. An example is government's announcement for a review of the Media Industry Development Act. A free and independent media that is not subject to draconian laws helps build an informed society and also express and exchange ideas without fear. This act is not consistent with these principles in its current form. It also means changing how government governs. Transparency in governance means that what government does is visible. We are committed to consulting widely with the community, particularly those affected by laws passed by the previous government. Part of this means making sure that sufficient time is taken to consider all possible impacts before new laws are passed. A consequence of this is that change may come slowly. This is inevitable given how long in previous governments was in power and the impact it had on nearly every aspect of our nation and lives. That is not to say that government will act slowly. Measures are designed to redress some of the most egregious wrongs and damage done to the country and the economy will be prioritized. As your Attorney General, I promise to be inclusive and open to listening and discussing ways of positively moving the legal profession to new heights and as lawyers. I also remind you that each of you are privileged part and leaders of our respective communities. Your words and your actions have a strong influence both on the community and on the decisions as leaders. I strongly encourage you to serve your communities and give back in any way you can. It also requires each of you to uphold justice and to act when it is undermined. It is the legal profession that does not speak. If the legal profession does not speak up or ask the relevant questions on the issues concerning rule of law, then who will? You have fundamental duty to protect our society. You must address inequality in all forms and act against abuse of political power. I also challenge young lawyers at this conference to participate in the discussions of the topics regarding the rule of law. Be brave, bold. We all have a duty to protect and develop the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very clear that we have an interesting and productive 2 days conference ahead of us. Let us all contribute positively to the discussions for the different topics and take full advantage of the networking opportunities and the deep array of legal knowledge shared. We all believe in our country, and it's a dream of dignity and peace the way the world should be, to be inspired by it. We should build a better country where our children and our grandchildren and their children will live in peace and dignity. Our tomorrow should be better than our today. In this spirit, let us, each one of us, do our best knowing that the battle is ultimately the Lord's. On this note, I end my address, convinced that I've made my case, but have exhausted neither yourselves nor the topics in the process. It is now my honor and privilege to officially open this year's Fiji Law Society Convention. I wish you very fruitful deliberations. May God bless you all, and may God bless Fiji. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the next 2 days.